The theme of this seminar could be, I can't get there from here. I can't get there from here. Well, of course, that's ridiculous. You can get anywhere from anywhere. But given my current vibration, I can't get to where I want to be, because my current vibration is blocking information that will help me to get to where I want to be. So that's why it's so fascinating. It's a wonderful thing to come together with a body of people like you and to have some conversations where your questions are in earnest and you cannot hear the answers. And it's because you said it, I'm impatient. You want the answer to unfold in a way that you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. You want a condition to suddenly change, and you observe it so that you can feel a positive response to your observation. That's what conditional life is. That's what almost everybody is doing. And we say that's not going to work. And the desire for that isn't working for anyone. It's just keeping you running around making excuses about why your life isn't more the way you want it to be. Everybody's sort of kind of doing that, when all along you've asked all the questions, and all the questions are all queued up, and all the answers and all the solutions are all queued up. And now you really could, if you can hear us, you really could take this impression and this attitude, this impulse to act, home with you today. And it would go like this. Everything that life has caused me to ask for is known, and it's already answered. And it's a simple process for me to begin receiving specific impulses that will lead me to the full-blown satisfaction of all of these quests. I'm not going to receive it all at once, but I can begin immediately receiving some of the first impulses. And as those first impulses come right away, they will prove themselves to me that they have come from broader perspective, and that this is right action for me to take. I don't need to know all of the action that I will take, because I only have the power of now to perform it. I can't perform all of the actions now. I can't go to all of the places that I'll be guided to now. I can only go to the next place that I'm guided to, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. And that's enough, because in my now there is a convergence of the source me and the physical me. And as I meditate and get into that receptive mode and receive an impulse and follow it, then the next will come, and the next will come, and the next will come, and my impatience will go away, and I will find myself living happily ever after, as it just keeps unfolding and becoming richer and richer, until you'll reach the place that your receptive mode moment can encompass many things at once. So you'll get an impulse to follow through on something, and several things will satisfy you all at one time. A few flights ago, Esther was on an airplane with a man. He said he was in his 30s, and he was interesting in lots of ways. He had a rather loud voice, and Esther wasn't sure at first if she wanted to have a conversation with him, because he only had volume really, really loud. But as they began talking, she found him to be a philosopher, and also a scientist and a mathematician, and an eager student of life. And so she just let him talk, and then she'd throw in something that she had learned from Abraham that she knew was solid and accurate and at the basis of what he was saying. And he then would stop talking for a moment, and he would close his eyes for a minute, and then he would say, "That's right, and here's why." And then he would give Esther a scientific, mathematical description of why it was right. And then he said, "We should get together more often." Turns out they live in the same town. "We should get together more often, because you've caused me to think thoughts I've never thought before that are right." Well, how do you think that came about? And who do you think it benefited? Both of them. And Esther walked away from that, and this is the feeling that she had, this profound feeling that she had. This 2 hours on this flight answered so much that was in my vortex all at once. They had conversations that Esther could not have looked that stuff up. She could not have found the reasoning behind that. It was like sitting next to Einstein, who was willing to talk on her level about things that she already knows. She just doesn't know why. That's right, he said, and here's why. Oh, can you imagine the satisfaction factor that Esther was feeling through all of that? And that's what we're saying to you. There are those pockets of what you want. Imagine meeting someone, looking for a mate, and then meeting someone who not only is in love with you, but is interested in so many things that you're interested in. You would say, jackpot. Well, your inner being is leading you to all of those jackpots. But first, you've got to show yourself that you are leadable. First, you have to show yourself that you are decipherable, that you are translatable, that you are receivable. You have to put yourself in the receptive mode, because your inner being has been broadcasting to you from the day you were born. The question is, when are you going to be receptive to what is being broadcast, you see? So the answers are all around you. But as you stand in this place, I can't find them, I'm confused, I don't know what to do. Well, then you can't find them and you're confused and you don't know what to do. But when your attitude is, I can meditate and I can quiet my mind and I can feel good in meditation and I can get an impulse and I can know an impulse that feels great and an impulse that feels blah, you know how to do this. This is not difficult. But first you have to allow yourself to know that it's all right for you to feel good, and that feeling good is the path to all of the things that you care about. You only need to develop patience if you don't know how to meditate and receive. You only have to develop patience if you're not willing to allow the universe to unfold in the comfortable way that it will to you. You only need patience when you don't know how this stuff works. You're not ever going to need patience again. All you need is 15 or 20 minutes that you can quiet your mind and get into the receptive mode, and then just watch what happens after that, you see. And don't come out of meditation and say, I didn't get anything, I didn't get anything. Instead say, today was the beginning of something really wonderful, and tomorrow I'll be even more receptive, and the next day even more receptive, until it won't be long that you'll be walking along as you often are. Do you know? When you're driving through traffic, often you're in the receptive mode, and you'll change a lane because your inner being thought it was a good idea, and you don't even know you got the impulse from your inner being. So many things that you're doing all day, every day, are impulses from your inner being. So we don't want to imply that you aren't in the receptive mode. We just want to imply that you're there by accident mostly. And that when you do it on purpose, then even when you do it by accident, at least you'll know you're doing it, you see. So what was the answer to your question? Get into the receptive mode. What's the answer to every question? Get into the receptive mode. Hardly worth the money, was it? Enough?
It's enough, but you also said at one time that imagination is the receptive mode. And I was wondering how, I might actively do something.
Well, here's the thing. Receptive mode, as you know, as we said today, you can be in the receptive mode of a problem and your imagination can just run away with you. Or you can be in the receptive mode of the solution. When imagination kicks in, you got a lot of momentum going. The question is the momentum going because you've been in this worried, paranoid receptive mode, or because you've been in this tuned in, tapped in, turned on receptive mode? So imagination, there is nothing in and of itself that is either good or bad, right or wrong. It's that there is information coming from your broader perspective, and there's information coming from a lot of places. And we're not implying that all of the information that's coming from other places is not good for you either, because once you get into this receptive mode, you're going to have timing and tuning that leads you to places where you receive things. In other words, Esther received a whole lot of interesting conversation from another man who's been gathering it up his whole life. And he received a whole lot of wonderful information from Esther, who has been gathering it up for a very large part of her life. And when they came together, there was a really wonderful conversation and motion forward for both of them that led both of them standing in a surer footing than either of them was before. You see what we're getting at? A really good mantra is, things are always working out for me. 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 Things are always working out for me, because they are. Things are always working out for me, and sometimes I listen. Things are always working out for me, and sometimes I'm in the receptive mode and I can witness it. That's when it gets really good. When things are working out for you as they are, and you are witnessing them, you are letting yourself be the receiver of it. That's what you came for. You didn't come for somebody else to create your own reality. You came to mix it up and come to decisions and to create your own vibrational reality. And then you knew that your inner being would join you, and that together that this vibrational reality could become reality. How do you think all of this stuff got here? This stuff that you call planet Earth. This is co-creation between you and source energy, you see. This creation is never ending. You are eternal beings. It will continue to be. But doing it on purpose and being consciously in on it and consciously witnessing it, that is so delicious. And just showing up and seeing things, that shock you, that's not nearly so satisfying. And thinking, somebody else did a really good job over there, that's not so satisfying to you either. But when you're in on it, when you know you molded the clay with your own mind, and you brought yourself with your own emotions into the place of the receptive mode, and you witnessed with your eyes wide open what's coming to you as a result of the alignment that you found, that's what you came for, and not anything even a little bit less than that. We think this is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.